Okay, so let's start with level one of Claude Code. It's raw prompting. So you can think of this as if you were to go to Claude Code and start from nothing, no context, no skills, none of that stuff built out. But you want to do something that historically maybe you couldn't have done, or maybe you just didn't want to do, or it just takes time, and now you want to do it with Claude instead. So an example I'll do is a really simple one, but I want to see sales numbers for 2025 and 2026 from the demo DB in Snowflake. So the first thing it's going to do is tell me what folder I want to be operating out of. So you can do this in your documents. This is a totally clean computer with no prior folder system. So if I were to start from scratch, what I would probably do is go put it into a users folder, and then I'll call this one like Claude data exercise. Now this is going to be the folder that I'm operating out of. By default, Claude is going to go back to this folder. If you have different repositories, etc., you want to have a different structure there. But it's going to walk through, do I trust this workspace? Can it read and write and do all this fun stuff to that workspace? I'm going to hit yes, trust this workspace, so I can get cooking. Okay, once I run this, the Opus is the LLM I have selected, so it's going to start asking me a bunch of questions. Can I check for the Snowflake CLI and config? Hit allow. As I am starting to get to know Claude, these gates that it has of asking you of what you want to allow, what you don't want to allow as you're setting up your infrastructure are super helpful in just letting you know kind of how Claude's brain is working. Now, if you don't want to have all of these prompts pop up, or if you're kind of wanting to move towards more of a YOLO ship it mode, you can go to bypass permissions and accept edits, fun stuff later, which we'll get to. But since we're setting up our infrastructure right now, in raw prompting, I would actually recommend having those in place so you can see what's happening as you're going through this process. And one of the things too that you can do as a rule is have Claude tell you a little learning on each step that you do so that you can get better each time. Okay, so how do I want to connect to Snowflake? I'm going to say the Snowflake CLI, and how should we authenticate? We could do either key pair, browser, or already configured if you already have it in a local environment file. I'm going to go with browser. And keep in mind, like if I'm doing this as a raw prompt, I would have to go through each of these individual steps every time I was just asking about like sales or revenue for the last couple of years. So it's a bit time intensive. When we get to skills in a little bit, which we will get to skills because we felt the pain of this time intensive raw prompting, that's when we can start to essentially fast track all this stuff so that we don't have to do it every time. Okay, so it's going to ask me for this info. I'm going to go ahead and hit pause and then enter in that info. You can enter in the info on your side if you want, and then we'll resume. Okay, so now I've got these. I'm going to go ahead and give Claude that info, triaging it a little bit, so I'll give it the full link here. And now it's prompted me to log in a different method with username and password. I added that in. Okay, now I've got a connection to Snowflake using a key pair value, which walked through with a little bit of triage with Claude. Now I can go ahead and continue this. All right, so in, I don't know, call it like 5 to 10 minutes, we've gone through with Claude, connected to Snowflake, ran a query. The query now shows me the won deals, revenue amount, lost deals, open pipeline, and this is pulling from the table I was telling to pull from in Snowflake. So the first feeling we might have is elation or excitement or wow, I can do anything now with a raw prompt. But keep in mind that took a while to get that spun up to do that. So if we try to do this again with a raw prompt, it might be kind of annoying because we have to go through and configure this each time rather than just ask it, hey, what's the sales for 2025 and 2026, and then get an immediate response. So that will get us to our next topic, which is how do we start with skills?